Hi there. Welcome to the ChatGPT Bootcamp. This is a 12 module program. I know on the slide it says 12-week, but it is in 12 modules, so you can consume it as quickly or as slowly as you need to. And my goal for you is in these 12 modules, you are going to learn how to master ChatGPT in order to eliminate, automate, and delegate your way to success in business. Now, this particular boot camp is for entrepreneurs and business owners. You can use it in your role in a company, but the primary goal is to cover 12 areas that I think are absolutely critical for business success. So if you're the owner or the entrepreneur, this is for you. Or if you want it to be for your team, they can take the individual modules. My advice to you is to go through it yourself first and then decide who should be taking which modules. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the veterans. So I created this course to help military veterans and their families. I wanted to say something thank you in a meaningful way rather than just thanks. So I created this course specifically to help veterans grow their businesses and thrive in their challenges in the civilian world. So congratulations on your transition. Thank you very much for your service, and I hope this helps you in the next phase of your career. Now, I'm going to introduce you throughout the module. You're going to meet my Drill Sergeant GPT. This is a custom GPT model. It's based on ChatGPT, and basically this model will help you apply the concepts I'm going to teach in this course. Now, I created him. I called him a drill sergeant because I thought it was appropriate, and also because I want to show that we're here to help, and you might need a little tough love now and then. So the drill sergeant is here to make sure you master the skills you need to master. All right, so we are going to cover module 1, and in module 1, basically we are mastering the art of prompts, and we're going to unlock some quick wins for you. So I want you to understand that prompt engineering is the foundation of success with AI in general, but it's definitely the core skill we need to learn with ChatGPT. So I will go into some detail. I will record some screenshots and I'll show you how exactly we master prompts. But basically, I want you to understand there's a couple of frameworks we're going to work on, and then I will go through some examples. So this slide is just to introduce you, and I want you to understand that mastering prompts matters. It is the core of success with AI, with ChatGPT. A lot of people, and myself included, when I first looked at ChatGPT, I was deeply concerned because I saw the garbage coming out in the world, and I looked at it and I thought, well, if this is all that it's going to do, it's clearly not a good tool. I'm sorry, but my initial judgment was AI is stupid and it creates stupid content. Judgmental, I know, and forgive me, but what I learned was that AI is just a tool. It amplifies the person at the keyboard. So if you are an expert in your field, it will amplify your expertise. If you don't know anything about a field, it will amplify that ignorance or, sorry, the stupidity. So what I judged as AI's fault was really the fault of the users. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of noise, and one of the challenges with AI is that it is by default, it's a large language model. So what it does is it prioritizes frequency. So if you look at the internet, the loud, noisy people, the ones who are, at a party, they're the drunk idiots that are doing things they shouldn't, they are abundant and plentiful. And unfortunately, the experts are very well respected, but they're quiet and numerically they're fewer. So let's just say in a world, in a population of 100 people, maybe two are experts, 98 are not. And probably about 80 of those are raving lunatics or crazy people. Um, so in a large language model, it counts frequency. So, as an example, a drunken person who keeps spouting nonsense over and over and over, that will show up more frequently than a sober person saying, "Hey, here's what I think," saying it once and ending their sentence. So, the problem with a large language model, if you don't use it right, you're going to get a lot of things like hallucinations, you're going to get conversation fatigue, and your results will not be good. So I'm going to teach you in my world here. We're going to show you how to get good results, and I'm going to teach you some frameworks for prompt engineering, and then I will give you some quick wins, and I will share some resources. So I personally believe if you're going to look at AI in general, you need to get good at engineering prompts. Now, the secret, the spoiler I want to share for you is that if you master ChatGPT first, it is predominantly a written communication tool. It can do some other things, but I use it mostly for the writing piece. Um, it is very good if you seed it right, if you structure it right. So I'll share some frameworks. But the big secret is it's iterative. You've got to ask it questions over and over again. And here's the cool thing, once you get good at asking it questions, your first response that you get back, no matter what, is always going to be what I call the throwaway response. The good stuff comes somewhere around the fifth or sixth iteration. So be prepared. Now, you're going to get things done faster and they're going to be higher quality if you follow my process. Now, I've spent thousands of hours playing with AI, and so I found that ChatGPT is the gateway. And what I mean by that is it helps me identify other tools. It helps me create processes for things. But basically, by mastering ChatGPT, and I want you all to think about it, you can use other tools if you want. For me personally, if somebody says, "What's your favorite AI?" it's ChatGPT because I know it well. There are other models out there. There's Grok, there's Gemini, there's Copilot. They all work very well. I would just say that I know ChatGPT inside and out, so it's the best one for me. And if you're ever stuck, you can ask ChatGPT to help you learn things. You can ask it what you need to know about something, or you can ask it who are some experts, or what are some other tools we should be considering. And I say that because there are literally thousands of AI tools, and new ones are being released daily, hundreds, if not thousands. So in my world, you really want to specialize in one. And once you get the time savings from that one, reinvest your time into something else. Now, I'm a big fan of Dan Kennedy, Dan Sullivan, and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Those are three of my favorite experts. Dan Sullivan and Dr. Hardy actually wrote a book called Who Not How. Dan Kennedy is a copywriting expert. I like to bring those three into my conversations and others as well. But what I really think is once you start to see some time savings, you can start to ask questions about who on my team, that's the who, not how, who on my team should be learning these things, and how can I help my team embrace or adopt or use AI. Now, the other thing, if you ever have to learn new software, I use ChatGPT all the time, and I have a little prompt, which I will show hopefully over the next few modules. But basically, I ask, what are the categories of experts that work with this software? Who are the individual world-class experts that use the software or teach others how to use it? And then I'll say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish with the software based on our categories of experts and our individual experts. What are some best practices for using the software? And that right there cuts down on all the extra noise. But then I'll say, okay, if I'm looking to do this, could you write me a detailed business process to document it so that I can follow along and do this thing in the software? So instead of trying to learn everything about a software, you can learn exactly what you need to do to get started today. So I use that all the time. It helps me. And just for the record, sometimes you'll get some weird things. Sometimes you'll say, look, I'm not seeing that menu or that item. What I see is this. And it'll say, oh, sorry, we looked at an old set of notes. Here's the current notes. So it's really helpful, and it'll pull out details that you wouldn't have expected. So those are some of my weird tips. So what we're going to cover in detail are the problem, agitate, solution framework, the attention, interest, desire, action framework, and I'm going to share some insights. And two of my favorite experts that have guided my prompt engineering are Greg Brockman and Ethan Mollick, and I'll show you how to incorporate that into the tutorial. Some quick wins. We'll walk through how to draft an email, and I get it to the point now when somebody sends me an email, I will paste it into my ChatGPT and I'll say, here's what I'm thinking about responding. Here's what I think about it. Here's the questions I have, and it'll help me format and respond to the email. So the key is I'm drafting it. I want you to understand you are always the grown-up. You are always in charge. So it's on your shoulders to make sure that the output you get from ChatGPT is what you need. And that's the thing I want people to know. I know a lot of things about a lot of things, but I never use AI for something I don't know anything about because I can't decide if it's good or bad. So I only write what I know, and I only use AI and ChatGPT in particular for things that I know. So when it comes to emails, I am the first and last line of defense. So I make sure they're drafted in my tone. I make sure they make sense. I make sure they're correct. So we're not disclaiming anything. We're not saying, oh, AI did it and it was wrong. No, this is your emails. We're just using it to speed it up so that you can, get the tone right. You can get the language right. You can, maybe add a clause. Maybe you can add, soften things. Maybe you can professionalize it. Maybe you can loosen it up a little. But drafting email is fascinating and fun with AI. The second thing we're going to show you is how to generate content ideas for blogs or social media posts. And again, I'm trying to be really practical. I want to give you some quick wins. And that leads to my third and favorite all-time use of artificial intelligence is writing standard operating procedures and to-do lists. You can call it action items, you can call it follow-up, you can call it whatever you want. But there's a few uses, and number one, I love to take a meeting that I've had and I summarize it, and then I'll get ChatGPT to create to-do lists for me and the other participants. The other thing is if I record something and I say, okay, here's how I do this thing, then I'll ask ChatGPT to take the transcript and turn it into a standard operating procedure. And it's never perfect, but it's always good enough that I can give it to somebody else and say, are you able to replicate this and do this one thing based on what I have for you? So if you're looking to grow your business and you're struggling because you are the owner, you're doing all the work, this is where you can start to delegate and hand things off. So throughout this, I'm going to talk about eliminate, automate, delegate. Writing SOPs is the most important piece for delegate. Now we're going to talk about ChatGPT, so I will create a bit of a quick start guide that will be available. And part of the course, we have a prompts library. I call it my perfect prompts library. You will have access Now, I will tell you, these are guidelines, they're suggestions, they're recommendations. Tailor them to you. And the magic of GPT is you can copy paste and say, okay, I want more of this, less of that. I like this, I don't like that. And you can make it perfectly fit for your use. I will also share my prompt template. So if you're ever stuck and you don't know what to ask, the prompt template will help you create the prompt that you need to get the results you want. And one of the practical exercises for people in our program is we recommend that you write and share a standard operating procedure for one repetitive business task in your world. That is entirely optional, but if you want feedback, that's how we do it. So that's module one. I'm going to dive in and do some examples now, and we look forward to your feedback as we go. Thank you. Welcome back to Module 2, and in Module 2 we're going to talk about eliminate, automate, and delegate with ChatGPT. Now the order is very, very important because there's no point automating something or delegating it if we should eliminate it in the first place. There's no point delegating something if we should have automated it. So we want to figure out first what we can eliminate, then what we can automate, and then what we can delegate. So I'm going to show you this in the context of my heaven or hell exercise. And basically, we're just going to walk through module 2, and I will do the theory, and then I will have a second video where I will show you how to put this actually into action. So I will introduce the framework, and then we're going to use that framework to identify time-draining tasks in your business, and we're going to figure out how we can either, first of all, eliminate them. So I'm a big fan of the Pareto principle. I will show you in the video how to use that principle to eliminate unnecessary tasks. And then using ChatGPT, we'll talk about detailed how-tos for automating repetitive workflows using, first of all, ChatGPT. Maybe we get into Zapier, that's another conversation. And then we'll use ChatGPT to create standard operating procedures and instructions so that you can delegate. And the key to clear delegation, I think most people abdicate, they don't delegate. You need to provide detailed instructions, templates, examples. Think of it as if you would give a human being instructions, you should give ChatGPT instructions. The magic is ChatGPT and the right human should come back and say, these are great instructions, and we should do this as well. So we want to use ChatGPT to optimize our processes and workflows as we go. And then the final thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to get into my research framework, and I'm going to explain to you how I use expert categories, experts, and best practices to create processes. And then we'll actually get into how you can learn new skills using ChatGPT for research and my research framework. And the final thing I want to cover, I will share some resources in the module, but we will talk mostly about building a more efficient and scalable business through the power of ChatGPT. So before we move on, I just want you to know we will talk about the Eliminate, Automate, Delegate framework, and I will credit Tim Ferriss and his book, The 4-Hour Workweek. He talks about deal, and he talks about delegate, eliminate, automate, liberate. So the L is liberate. I personally think that eliminate, automate, delegate, that order, EAD, works better for me. You find the order that works for you. So I am deeply inspired by Tim Ferriss. And if you're looking at re-engineering processes, the works of Michael Hammer, Michael Gerber, David Jennings, really good, powerful ways to optimize processes. And also Rocket Fuel, Gino Wickman. You know, when I first looked at EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System, I felt like it was restraining, restrictive. It was trying to fence me in. I now realize that systems and processes set us free. So if you don't have systems and processes, you don't have freedom. I'm sorry to say it. So I'm going to show you in the examples how to automate repetitive tasks, how to get ChatGPT to show you how to automate repetitive tasks, and how to delegate those tasks. So in the resources, we're going to have an EAD checklist, an SOP generator template, and of course, you're going to get to do an exercise where you're going to automate follow-up emails for a specific workflow. Now, the reason I picked that one is that most of the time, most of my emails are from people who are asking for a status update or they want to know something. And, my world, I'm of the opinion if it was done, I'd tell you it was done. If it's not done, leave me alone so I can finish it. However, that is not white glove service. So one of the things you can do is trigger workflows and have email templates, or you can even go so far as to automate those emails and anticipate the questions people might have and when. So we'll walk through that as an exercise. Now, before we get into the actual eliminate, automate, delegate, I'm going to show you the heaven or hell exercise. And this is not that complicated. You can do it by yourself, or I actually do it 3 layers deep when I work with my clients. The first layer is the client themselves, the business owner. You do the heaven or hell exercise. The second level is you look at it from an organizational point of view and you redo the heaven or hell with the help of your leadership team, and you identify the things in your organization as a whole that you could eliminate, automate, or delegate. And the goal is we're moving out the stuff we hate so that we have room to do the things we love and we want to do more of. And then the third layer deep, if you're brave enough, do this with your individual team members. And the goal is to realign your corporate structure, because one person's heaven is someone else's hell and vice versa. So you need to preface this and say we're not going to change things overnight, but the goal should be that the majority of your employees are spending the majority of their time in their heaven and avoiding their hell. And the good news is most heaven can be automated or delegated. It can be done by yourself, and most hell can be eliminated, automated, or delegated. So that's the goal, is to move the heaven into your world so that you're spending 80-90% of your time in heaven, and figure out how to eliminate, automate, or delegate the hell so that everybody is working in their zone of genius. So this is a 4-quadrant system. It's really, really simple. On the left, we have things that we love doing. On the right, we have things we hate doing. So take some time, just grab a piece of paper, draw a line so it's broken into 4 quadrants. And the top left quadrant is things you're not doing yet, but want to start doing. So as I said, start with you as the founder, then you can look at this as an organization and then as individual teams. But what are the things you love to do or you'd love to do, but you don't have time for? And this is honestly where most businesses struggle. Stephen Covey talks about the Covey matrix. Eisenhower has the Eisenhower matrix. The things we love to do are often important, but not urgent, so we don't get them done. So we want to prioritize the things we love to do, because that's where we're going to get our energy. That's where we're going to spend our day. So I don't set goals per se, but I do try to aim for where I'm going to spend most of my time. And for me, that's on the heaven side. Now, the bottom left is things we're currently doing, but we'd like to do more. Now, for the record, I'm not really going to press you on this. There are some things that you love doing, you're not doing yet. There are some things you love doing, or you love doing, but you're not doing enough of. Maybe they're not the highest and best use of your time. Maybe you want to automate or delegate. It's up to you. If you love going to check the mail and you're the president of the company, maybe that's not the best use of your time, but it's up to you. Because the goal is we want to move things we hate off our plate and get someone else doing them, or if we can, we eliminate them. So the left side is the fun part. This is where we're identifying the things we either want to do or want to do more of. Now, on the right-hand side, there are things every individual is doing but wants to stop doing. There are things every organization is doing but want to stop doing. This is where we look at the eliminate. And we'll go into some detail on this with ChatGPT. I have some sample prompts you can use. But basically, if you list the things that you do in your day that you hate, and by the way, you can put all of these into ChatGPT and say, here's where I spend my time, here's where I'd like to, and you can actually get it to help you figure out ways to eliminate things first. So we always start with what can I eliminate from this list? Because the more things you cross off, it's magical. Sometimes problems solve themselves just by taking things away. And I do want to stress you will never find the time for the things you love until you figure out how to eliminate, automate, or delegate the things you hate. So this is a gift to tomorrow you. Figure out the things that you should just stop doing. So the currently doing but want to stop, this is almost always about what can we eliminate. Now, the reality is we can't eliminate 100% of the things we hate, but we can eliminate a good chunk. Next question is, of these things, what could I automate? And okay, I couldn't eliminate it, I couldn't automate it, how can I delegate it? And this is wonderful. If you take a big thing that let's say, um, if you look at a doctor who does surgery, the doctor doesn't do the cleanup. They don't set up the operating room. They don't clean the materials afterwards. They're not scrubbing the floors. They come in, they do the surgery, and they leave. So, what I challenge you with the help of AI is in your business, figure out the things that only you can do, and then figure out the pieces that other people could do to support you in that. And by the way, I love using AI for that because sometimes it's creating frequently asked question documents, sometimes it's creating videos, sometimes it's creating tutorials. I personally want to help as many veterans as I can. If I teach them one by one, I burn out and I'm only helping one at a time. Whereas creating a course like this, I can help multiple people at once and it doesn't cost me any extra time or effort adding one more person or even 10 more people to the program. So this is where we're going to use ChatGPT. We're going to figure out what can I eliminate and then what can I automate, what can I delegate. Now, the priority here is eliminate and automate. Now, the bottom is about what could I delegate. So these are the things I hate to do, but I could delegate. Could somebody else pick up my dry cleaning? Could somebody else clean my windows? Could somebody else take out the trash? Yes. So as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, and I challenge you to do this from the top down, bottom up, I don't care. But personally, I like to do it from top down because once you figure out all the little things you can get rid of, then you got more time for the things you want to do. Now, I'm going to give an example, and I think this applies to almost any skill that you master. If you think about it, when you start out, you learn something, and let's just be honest, most of what we learn is almost random and haphazard. We learn a little piece here, we learn a little piece there, we practice and we develop that skill, and then over time we've learned to do one big thing. So, for example, I'll use martial arts. You might learn a skill, you might learn how to block, you might learn how to punch, you might learn how to kick. And then over time, you learn how to put that into a pattern. And then over time, you learn how to use that in sparring. Now, the secret is in martial arts, you do learn intentionally, but there is a little bit of randomness. But in most skills, especially professional, you learn things at different times and you learn how to put the pieces together yourself. What I find is a lot of professionals, and especially really, really smart ones, they don't know the individual pieces that someone else can do versus the one part only they can do. So, for example, I know a lot of professionals who write letters. They think they have to write the letter from scratch. The reality is, you can have a student write the draft and then you just polish it. So this is where AI is magical because it can tell you what can be delegated and more importantly, how. So that's the end of the first part of this journey. I hope you take the time and at the very least do the heaven or hell by yourself. But I really, really recommend you go the two other layers deeper. So layer two, have this from an organizational point of view with your leadership. And then number three, do it with your individual employees. Now, I will say this one more time. When you do this with your employees, some of them will hear you're going to eliminate everything they hate and they're going to get really mad when you don't. You need to remind them that this is a goal. We're not going to accomplish this overnight. We may not ever finish it, but our goal is for each and every one of you to do things you love more than you do things you hate. And sadly, whoever's at the bottom of the pay scale, they're going to get the things nobody else wants to do. But again, if you use the right systems and processes, hopefully they'll at least enjoy that. So that is the heaven or hell exercise. Let's come back in part 2 of module 2, where I'll actually show you some prompts to help you put this into practice. So the theory is done. If you have any questions, you can put them in the video, just down below the video. There's room for comments. And I will see you in part 2 where we do practical application. In module 3, we are going to talk about content creation. And content creation fascinates me because people say, I don't know what to write about, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to talk about the theory first, and you want to look at writing compelling blogs, generating engaging social media captions and posts, crafting persuasive email campaigns and newsletters. We'll also talk about using ChatGPT for video scripts and ad copy. And I'm going to talk about the PASS framework and the hero's journey and how we can use ChatGPT to leverage these storytelling frameworks for better engagement. And of course, once you've created the content, this is the secret. ChatGPT can help you repurpose it to spread it across multiple platforms. And I'll show you a little bit about editing and improving AI generated drafts. And I think the most powerful tool, I will show you a little bit about how to brainstorm content ideas quickly. And I'll show you how to avoid generic outputs and use your unique voice. And ultimately, the goal is to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of your content creation without sacrificing quality. So basically, in this module, I'm going to show you how to simplify the process of creating business growing content. This might be for YouTube, it might be for Instagram, it might be for LinkedIn, Facebook. The secret is be where your audience is and provide the content they need. I will share some thoughts on how to use a podcast to grow your business because I really, really love the podcast concept and I think it can have great value for people. And then we'll talk about blogs, LinkedIn posts, video scripts, etc. And also, I'm a big fan. So, social media is for growth, email is for dollars, it's for revenue. So, I'll show you how to build a newsletter or set up email campaigns, and we'll go through our content creation framework. I'll share some swipe files. Of course, there will be some prompts you can use, and I'll show you how to write in a LinkedIn post, and we'll create one, for example, on 3 ways ChatGPT can save veteran-owned business owners, veterans who own businesses time. So this module is really, really fun. It's exciting because it's where we start to see some easy wins. Now, I realize not everybody's in this world to create content. So my secret sauce for you, my special gift is if you have clients, create frequently asked question documents. I don't care what business you're in, whether you're selling a product, whether you sell a service, I don't care. Your customers, your prospects, your potential customers all have questions. Now, those questions might be questions they need answered before they choose to work with you, or it might be questions they need answered after they choose to work with you, or it might be questions that maybe they should be asking, but they don't know enough to ask so that they can work with you. And that's what I love about ChatGPT. You can save a lot of time and energy by gathering those frequently asked questions in all in one place and then sharing them with everybody. And the cool thing is, if you do it right and if you properly brand it, it becomes something that people will share far and wide, and it actually draws people into you, and it actually makes you more referable. So I'm going to do a live example. I'll show you how to create a frequently asked question document, and I'll show you how to share it. So welcome back, and let's dive in and start doing some things. I know a lot of people say, oh, creating content is time consuming, it's hard. If you start with the frequently asked questions, that is really truly the bare minimum, and that's the most amazing content because it helps people. And it's fascinating to me. People say, oh, I don't have time for this. Well, here's the secret. You're going to keep answering these questions one way or another. If you do it well, you don't ever have to waste your time answering them again. And again, if you do it well, it will bring you clients. Now, the other secret is everybody thinks that, I have thousands of questions people ask me. No, you don't. I guarantee if you look at it, you have less than 20. In fact, most of the businesses I've worked with have 10. There's about 10 questions that your clients ask over and over. It feels like you have a lot of questions, but the reality is, nope. They're just asking the same question over and over and over and over again. So if you answer it well, answer it consistently, it becomes a digital asset that you can use for the rest of your days in business. So I encourage you, just take a note whenever somebody asks you a question, how would I answer this? What's my best practice? And then roll with it. So we'll talk about that more in the practical side, but the good news is the theory here is very short. Thank you. In Module 4, we're going to talk about how you can streamline your business operations. And in the actual practical examples, I will show you how to write a standard operating procedure in minutes with ChatGPT. And I'll also show you how to automate meeting agendas, notes, and summaries. Now, one of my favorite things is if you're learning to use software of any kind, ask ChatGPT who are the experts that work with this software on a day-to-day basis, who are the experts who consult on the software, what are some best practices for using this software, and finally, can you help me understand how to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish using this software? And then I ask it to write a standard operating procedure so that it tells me step by step how to do something. And it's wonderful because it'll go out to the internet, it'll find all kinds of tutorials, things like that, and it'll give you the actual detailed steps on how to do something. It's very nice because sometimes software upgrades and you don't get the upgraded instructions. GPT will find the most recent. So some of the other things I will show you and that are possible, and again, my goal in the theory is to teach you the theory so that you know what's possible. In the practical, I will show you exactly what's possible. So I will show you how to generate project plans and task lists. I know I work with a lot of visionary entrepreneurs. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who have some neurodiversity. We're really good at the big picture. We're really good at seeing things that others don't see. We're really good at the dream, the vision. We don't necessarily get down to the execution part. And until you bring your ideas into the real world and execute on them, they are just dreams. So we want to show you how to turn that into action. And we'll talk about how to use ChatGPT to prioritize the tasks you have. I'll show you how to simplify communication with AI. One of my favorite little hacks is if I have a lengthy email, whether it's from a client, a vendor, or an employee, I will paste it into ChatGPT and I will ask ChatGPT to give me a summary of it, give me any action items, and draft a response. Now, the key word there is draft. I'm not getting it to write the response and send it. I'm going to draft it, and then I will do it. Sometimes a long email can take me an hour to respond to because I'm reading it and I'm going back and forth. I get interrupted. This allows me to draft it within seconds, and then I come back to it a little later. I ponder it, I edit it, and I send it. So ChatGPT, once it learns your voice, can be a great tool for email simplification. And I can't stress this enough. If you have repetitive tasks, ask ChatGPT to help you build workflows, but first go through the eliminate, automate, delegate mindset. And you can actually automate customer follow-up emails. I'm not going to show you the full automation. I'm going to tell you that it is possible. For now, you need to get really comfortable with AI before you get to the automation. And once you create some templates, you can significantly reduce errors. And more importantly, you can consistently respond. And really the goal of this is to enhance your collaboration with more organized operations. And ultimately, you should be able to save hours every week through streamlined processes. So we want to look at the most common, the most critical processes in our business, and we want to find ways to optimize them. So I will have sample prompts. I will walk you through some examples, but basically ChatGPT is world class at summarizing things and at creating plans. And I promise you, if you know anything about your workflows, if you share what you have, ChatGPT can help you improve them. And little things like automating meeting notes, I use plugins all the time. So if I'm on Zoom or Google Meet, my meetings are recorded, they're transcribed, summarized, and everybody gets an email at the end saying, here's the action items, here's the summary of what was discussed. I don't know why I would want to take manual meeting notes ever again. I get much better notes and I can pay attention in the meeting knowing that AI is going to summarize it for me. Now, there are a couple of experts I like, Sam Carpenter and David Jennings. I would also add Michael Gerber, the author of the E-Myth series. And some of the tools we'll be sharing. I have an AI model for generating standard operating procedures. I'll demo how that works, and we'll create an automation cheat sheet that you'll find in the resources. And your first exercise I'm going to walk through is to create a business process workflow and automate the tasks that you can hand off. So make sure once you've listened to the video, you go in and you practice. I can't stress this enough. You're not going to learn ChatGPT just by watching the videos. You need to practice, you need to test it out, and really, truly, I could scare you off and say you need to get better at prompting, but really think of it as a conversation. You would never have a conversation with a coworker and not understand what they're saying and go, okay, thank you, I get it. You'd say, I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Could you tell me more? So with ChatGPT, you're going to say, I'm sorry, could you tell me more? So just get used to it. Think of it as having a 24/7 expert available that, again, maybe doesn't always pay attention, but when you get its attention in the right way, it will give you the right answers. So, once upon a time, I heard a quote from Tony Robbins: the quality of my life is the quality of my communication. With ChatGPT, the quality of my life is the quality of my questions in my communication. So, a slight adaptation, but that's how we get there. All right. In Module 5, we are going to talk about how to supercharge your sales process. So I will show you how to write outreach or follow up or feedback emails that get responses. For the record, if you do cold email outreach, I am not here to support you on that. I don't like cold outreach, but if you want to use it, ChatGPT can give you um, some guidance. Again, not my area, but the whole point is we want to build our businesses, we want to grow. So I will show you how to write creative and persuasive sales proposals. We will talk about drafting effective follow up emails. And my favorite thing with AI is you can really use it to prepare for sales calls. Um, Once upon a time, I took a lot of sales training, and the thing that fascinated me was that the most successful salespeople um, thoroughly understand the problems of their prospect, and they do well because of that. Um, what I also learned was that average salespeople don't bother because, quote unquote, it's too much work. Ironically, too much work stands between mediocrity and wild success. What I love is that ChatGPT can help you do all of that research so you can go from mediocre to great quickly. And I believe that sales is one of the number one skills. If you can learn how to communicate, how to solve problems, sales is really good at testing your brain. If you can learn to sell more, any business can grow and thrive. And in the sales world, they talk about handling objections. My goal is to actually eliminate objections, and you can do that by educating your prospects up front. We talk a lot about Dan Kennedy's book, Magnetic Marketing. We want to attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. So we'll also talk about how we can use AI to generate ideas for upselling and cross-selling to increase our revenue. We'll have some coverage as to how we can track and analyze our sales performance, and we can look at customizing ChatGPT based on different customer segments. And this is really, really powerful. Once upon a time, marketing and sales material was generic, and hopefully the customers saw themselves in our content. Now you can get as specific as you want. You can write it for a specific gender, you can write it for specific geography, specific age range, specific education level. It is amazing what we can now do with ChatGPT. And of course, the goal is to optimize our sales team so we can automate repetitive sales tasks and improve sales efficiency while improving sales effectiveness and maintaining personalization of our content. So in Module 5, we're going to go deep into how we can use ChatGPT to generate leads and close more deals. And we'll talk about some sales strategies. As I said, me personally, I would rather eliminate objections. So I will show you how we can create a frequently asked questions document that we can give to people, and basically if they don't like the answers in there, they're not going to book a sales call. We don't necessarily need to have a conversation. Now, I know there are people out there who are hardcore sales. If you don't ask for the sale, you don't get it. I'm a believer in service and value. I don't want to sell something to someone that either isn't a fit for them or it's not something they need, because that means I end up dealing with refunds and they clog the system. I'd rather work with people who totally, completely understand what I do and want to work with me. So I believe in education. I will share some insights as we go. My three favorite experts here are Blair Warren, Dan Kennedy, and Russell Brunson. And through this course, we'll be creating an email swipe file. So you'll get some examples. We'll show you how to prep for a sales call, and we'll draft an email sequence using ChatGPT. Now, to be clear, I don't do cold outreach. I deal with people who reach out to me. So basically, we have the frequently asked questions out there in the world, and we answer them. And then people who like that, they maybe subscribe, they want to get more. So I'll show you how an email sequence can reduce or either reduce, eliminate, or just optimize a sales process. And believe me, I see this in the sales world all the time. People say that the riches are in the niches and the fortune is in the follow up. And if you're not following up, you're not going to get the deals that you want. Now, here's the cool thing: when you're magnetically attracting the right people, you need to be prepared that some of them will say, I want to buy today. Um, I've seen people who say, well, we have a process, you have to wait and go through 10 emails, and you have to go through this and you have to go through that. If somebody wants to pay you today, take their credit card. So I'll show you how to create a shortcut so that people can always pay you for what you do. Welcome to Module 6. In Module 6, we're going to talk about enhancing customer service. So I will show you practical, but here's some use cases. Number one is drafting email templates for common customer inquiries. This is amazing. It's probably would have been hard to do, not impossible, before AI. But as you sort of start to see the questions you're getting, whether it's through your customer database, wherever you're getting these inquiries, maybe it's through support tickets, AI, especially ChatGPT, can summarize, can find the common threads, and then you can create corporate approved, if you will, standard responses. So people can help themselves much easier. I'll show you how to write chatbot ready scripts, because I think chatbots are here whether people accept them or not. We want them to be intelligent, we want them to be useful, and maybe you're not ready to jump into chatbots yet, but you should still give your employees the correct answers to common questions. Now, I want to stress that one of the third use we're going to talk about is how you can personalize communication with AI. You can tailor it directly to the audience. You can get their tone. You can respond to them in their language. And what I'm finding over and over is we can significantly improve response times with AI generated replies. Now, I will stress we're drafting, and then a human is saying, yes, I approve this. So we still are the bottleneck, but we're faster because we can get AI to give us a more nuanced reply. And through that, we can identify those frequently asked questions, and then we can start to create content and materials to answer them so we get them less often. And by the way, if you think you get 1,000 questions a day, I would guarantee that most of the time, most businesses I work with, you get 10 questions asked 100 times each. So if you identify the 10 most frequently asked questions, it will drastically reduce customer support issues. It will drastically reduce onboarding issues. GPT is really good at helping you identify and standardize the answers to those frequently asked questions. Now, I love asking customers about their satisfaction levels. So we can talk about using ChatGPT to build customer satisfaction surveys. I've used it to write apology or recovery emails for customer issues. I drop the ball once in a while. I get it to help me get the right tone, and I can get it to check and make sure my communication is professional. So I humanize it, but AI professionalizes it. And it is amazing with the time I'm saving, I'm able to increase customer loyalty through personalized touches. And most importantly, I think I can enhance team training for customer support with AI. So I'm good at training because I've spent most of my life training others. However, not everybody is good, not everybody is capable. You can actually use AI to tailor the training, whether it's for your clients or employees. You can tailor the training to their learning style. So me, and this is true of most people who create training, we will default to our preferred training style. At the reason we default is it's fast for us, it's efficient, and it's easy. If we adapt to other styles, we may personally struggle. What I love about AI is I can say I have this learning style, or I can say, here's my teaching style. Help me adapt it to serve other learning styles. So you can adapt on the fly really good, really quickly. So ultimately, you can really improve those response times. You don't have to agonize over things for hours. You can do it fairly quickly. So I will show you in the practical side how to draft frequently asked question scripts and how to personalize. Now, a couple of experts you may want to look at are Shep Hyken and Tony Robbins. And in our materials, we will be creating customer service script templates. I will, of course, show you how to customize those. And I would challenge you in our exercise to create ChatGPT chatbot responses for common customer questions. Now, don't worry about the fact that I'm saying chatbot because it might be just for your use, it might be for your employees. We don't need to go straight to the chatbot yet. Now, Module 7, I am obsessed with my clients. I love getting to know them. The challenge I've always had is that market research was time consuming, it was onerous, and it was really sometimes easier to just charge ahead and hope for the best. One of the things I find is the more I understand my market, the more money they're willing to pay me because I'm solving bigger problems for them. So in this module 7, we are going to go into, um, I'll share 10 things that I think AI can do amazingly well. And then we'll get into the practical and we'll actually learn how to do these things. But number one is conducting competitor analysis. AI is really good at analyzing and summarizing, so you can really get clarity on who the big players are in a market, what are their unique selling propositions, how are they standing out, how are they differentiating, what's unique about their business model. If you can think of the questions, AI can answer them and help you guide you forward. Again, I don't get too hung up on competitors. I don't actually believe in the word. I think everybody's a possible collaborator if we figure out how, but you can understand an industry very well. My favorite use is to truly and carefully and thoroughly understand the customer pain points and needs. I believe that information products, selling insight helps people and builds loyalty. So the more I understand pain points, the better I can customize my solutions to solve those pain points. And I will show you how we can find new niches and maybe identify untapped markets. Definitely, we will talk about analyzing trends in our industry. I love to see what's coming in the future because that helps me anticipate what changes I can make. And I will show you how to summarize large amounts of research data very quickly. And we will use ChatGPT for writing surveys and polls to gather customer insights. I love small businesses. One of the main challenges, I think, is they create things that they think they need, they create things in a vacuum. I like to get feedback from my audience, so I will show you how to survey or poll your audience to get their insights. It's much better if you get their feedback early, then you can make sure the end result is customized for them. And of course, once you've done the surveys, I will show you how to use ChatGPT to interpret the results. And that gets really powerful because I promise you, AI is really good at finding patterns and connections that maybe you or I wouldn't. And the magic of that is then we can use AI to explore new product or service ideas using AI and how we can optimize them. And ultimately, what this does is reduces your research time while improving your output quality. And this, in my humble opinion, is the advantage because now we can make informed business decisions with ChatGPT supporting us. So, in this module, in the theory, we've talked about how to use AI to do market research. In the practice, I will actually show you the prompts that I use. We'll walk through this. And I can't stress this enough. Fall in love with your prospect, fall in love with your client, understand everything there is to know about them and what their pain points are. I believe in creating value in the world. And one of the things in a past life, I was an accountant. I knew that, in certain cases, they needed to go see someone else to get certain problems solved. I didn't have a database. I didn't understand the ecosystem that well. So I would say you need to go find a lawyer who can draft this for you. And what I didn't realize was I could have added enormous value just by saying, here's a lawyer that I know, go see them. Now, I did learn that by accident, but that's the beautiful thing. If you truly understand who your clients are and you truly understand their pain points, you can add value just by saying, here's my list of trusted people that I would send you to work with. And you can do quality referrals that add value to your clients and to other participants in your business ecosystem. So I think we will talk about competitor analysis, market trends, but two of my experts here that I follow are Nate Silver and Robert Cialdini. So we will create a market research prompt library that I will be sharing with you. And I would highly encourage you to use ChatGPT to analyze your competitors and to identify content gaps. Now, for the record, I say I don't believe in competitors, and I mean it. However, if you look at what your industry as a whole is doing, the opportunity is not in the places where you have a lot of competition. For accountants, for example, everybody does tax returns almost. So I can't differentiate or stand out doing taxes. However, very few actually do a detailed business advisory analyzing cash flow. So if you identify the gaps, that's where you're going to find your value adds, where you can create more value in your ecosystem. And using the words, I can't remember who wrote it, but the book Blue Ocean Strategy, we want to create new markets rather than fight in the red ocean where there's a lot of competition. All right. In Module 8, we are going to talk about a marketing funnel. And I just want to say something. I have resisted the phrase marketing funnel for a long time because to me it felt a little bit manipulative. I'm building out this funnel and I'm pushing people through it. It's kind of like herding cattle through chutes. But what I realized was that it actually can be a great service to my clients. And what I mean by that is I'm the expert. I know what this should look like. So for me, why wouldn't I tell them what their process, their journey should look like? So if you're like me and the word marketing, the phrase marketing funnel bothers you, I also call it the customer journey map. And that resonates with me because I'm now guiding them through so that as the expert, I know what step one is. I tell them to take step one. Once they've taken step one, I guide them to step two. That is my job as the expert, is to help people. So for example, I started this course teaching how to use ChatGPT at a low level, basic prompts. Now I'm going to show you how to do it at a high level and very, very detailed. So under the marketing funnel umbrella, I'm going to share 10 things that ChatGPT can do very well. Again, in the practical side, I will show you examples. So right now, this is just the theory. I'm going to share things that I know ChatGPT is capable of. And just as a bonus, I think I will create a prompt so that you can take the transcript and you can ask it questions. So you don't need to wait for me to answer your questions. Believe it or not, ChatGPT is really good at this. I also am building a custom AI model that my students can take and access and ask questions based on the content that I shared. So I'll show you all of this because I firmly believe that AI can amplify intelligence. So without further ado, here are 10 use cases where I believe ChatGPT can help with building a marketing funnel. So first things first, we need to map the structure of our marketing funnel. I have an 8-step customer journey map. I've added 2 more steps to it, so now I have a 10-stage. Mapping it out is critical. Number 2, you can write landing page copy. Number 3, you can generate all kinds of lead magnet ideas, and I believe lead magnets should add value. So I love checklists, templates, guides, ebooks, things like that. Number 4, customer onboarding. I love creating email nurture sequences for my leads, answering their questions before they have them. Guiding them through my world so that they don't have to figure out what I do. I use ChatGPT to draft webinar or event scripts. I use it for optimizing my messaging for each funnel stage. I will show you that in great detail. I love it for testing and iterating on funnel copy. One thing I will say, in the old days, if you made a change, it was onerous to change everything. Now with ChatGPT, you can say, okay, please update all of these things. I have a friend who builds marketing funnels for a living. It can take them 6 months to a year to build one because they're always making changes. I can do a funnel in less than a week. And then, of course, once you've created it, we can talk about how AI can help us with automating parts of the process. And my number one obsession is, how do we improve customer retention through our messaging? So we want to white glove our service. And the final thing we can use AI is simplifying the creation of an overall cohesive marketing strategy. My personal rant, I find way too many entrepreneurs don't have a marketing strategy. They jump into marketing tactics. So your mission is to create a strategy. And then all of your tactics must support your strategy. So in the theory, we will show you how to develop systems to turn leads into customers. I'm obsessed with landing pages, lead magnets, and nurture emails. And I will give full credit. Most of what I know about these things comes from Ryan Deiss or Russell Brunson. They are 2 of my favorite experts. And I will show you a funnel blueprint. I'll show you how to create email templates. And the practical exercise, you will write a nurture email sequence for new leads. And I just will stress that most of my nurture emails, I focus on what are the questions these people have about moving forward and working with me, and how can I proactively answer them. And by the way, I will show you in this, when we get to the end, how to take recordings and turn them into other content that you can share as a lead magnet. Now, for the record, there is the word lead magnet, the phrase bothers me sometimes because a lot of people consider it to be just clickbait, and they'll put garbage out just hoping you'll click on it and ask for it. We're not those people. And if you want those people, you can go to YouTube and just type in, how do I grow my business and create lead magnets with ChatGPT? You will get a lot of noise. We are creating valuable content. The free content is going to be so valuable, they can't wait to pay you and work with you because they want to know what your paid stuff looks like. And spoiler alert, my little bias, my lead magnets answer the questions and solve the problems that people have that prevent them from working with me. So I take away those problems so that when they come work with me, they're ready. So I might give them here's 3 common mistakes you're making using AI. I will bust 3 myths and I'll give 3 best practices. But really, it's all about how do I help them overcome their barriers so that they're ready to work with me, because I'm not here to convince people that AI is a good thing. I'm here to help those people who believe it embrace it and adopt it. All right, Module 9. This is my favorite, I think. Sorry, don't tell the other modules. We will talk about boosting productivity with AI tools. So this is where we can start to get really fancy, we can grow. So for example, I'll show you how to integrate ChatGPT with tools like Zapier for automation. We'll talk about using ChatGPT for task management and prioritization. Again, you might have a to-do list. You can turn those to-do list items into standard operating procedures so you can delegate. I will show you how to, I'm an avid note taker. I love taking physical notes using my pen and a notebook. I will show you how to enhance your note taking with AI driven apps. And we'll show you how to integrate. We will talk about automating repetitive tasks through workflows. And step 5, we will talk about scheduling efficiency with ChatGPT. Number 6, I love it as a tool for CRM management. We'll create some custom prompts for you there based on whatever CRM you're using. We will talk about learning shortcuts for common business tasks. Um, I believe in the saying, if you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. So I'm going to show you how to tackle your common business tasks, not mine, yours. And that's the magic of GPT, is once you learn how to use it, you can customize it and take it from theory to practical very easily. If you get nothing else out of this course, I want you to understand how adaptable ChatGPT is to you and your challenges. So I will show you how to use ChatGPT to build templates that will save you time. We will look at some AI tools that complement ChatGPT. My goal is not to teach you everything about AI, but to give you an idea of what else is possible out there. And we will find the mundane tasks and will transform your productivity by automating them. So I will show you how ChatGPT integrates. It is amazing what you can do with just little things like integrating with Google Drive, Google Doc, Google Sheet, um, Notion AI, Zapier are some amazing things. And I'm a huge fan of James Clear. He wrote Atomic Habits, and Cal Newport wrote Deep Work. The goal is to free us up from the mundane so that we can focus on the high level, best use of our time things. So I will share how to create a productivity tools list tailored to you. So I'll share my list. You can tailor it to you. And I'll also show you how to create a workflow automation checklist and think about something you do repeatedly in your business. In the practical, we will focus on how do we automate a recurring business task. Now, I'm going to assume that at least some of you have teams, so I'm going to show you how to collaborate with your team. My number one thing, and I would say this for clients as well as employees, is a good onboarding process solves 90% of your problems. Most problems that we think are people problems are actually system problems or training problems. It's usually because the people don't understand the system. So, a good onboarding guide is my number one tip. And I do this for clients as well as team members. And I'll show you how we can use this to create very detailed role descriptions and expectations. And I will show you how to delegate tasks effectively with instructions created by ChatGPT. Now, a lot of this I'm going to ask for feedback because I want to show you how to solve your problems, not rant on and on about how I solve my problems. Um, Number 4 of the 10 things I think ChatGPT can do in this area, we will talk about drafting internal communications. Number 5, we will focus on how to enhance collaboration with agendas, meeting notes, meeting summaries, archiving old projects, retrieving data. I love using ChatGPT for training materials and creating those standard operating procedures. Um, the 7th use is supporting team members with AI assisted guidance. If you are an expert in something, your team, you can train an AI model and your team can get your level of guidance from AI. Now we want to be motivational. So step 8, we can generate motivational content for team communication. 9, we can delegate those repetitive admin tasks straight to GPT. And then 10, we'll talk about using AI to build a culture of efficiency and clarity. I would add effectiveness there because there's no point being efficient until we're first effective. If I haven't ranted about that yet, efficiency is doing things right. So you're accomplishing a task with minimal waste. Effectiveness is doing the right things. So you're asking yourself, should I be doing these tasks in the first place? So I will show you how I've used AI to train and grow teams effectively. And we will talk about creating onboarding guides, training materials, and above all, those role descriptions. So John Maxwell and Chris Ronzio are 2 experts we have here. I will show you how to create your own team training template, and in the practical, we will create an onboarding SOP using ChatGPT. Um, Believe it or not, I think that's the biggest hurdle. People don't hire soon enough because they don't know how to bring somebody up to speed. Good SOPs will do that for you. In Module 11, we will show how to track performance and uncover growth opportunities by measuring success. So here are some 10 of my favorite use cases. Number 1 is tracking KPIs and creating performance dashboards. If you're not tracking it, how do you know you're succeeding? Number two, we can summarize business performance data. So we can take a spreadsheet, we can analyze it, we can ask it for areas of improvement. We can use ChatGPT to identify long-term trends in our metrics. I know a lot of businesses don't track KPIs. I will show you why that's important and how to do it. Number four, we can write reports and executive summaries. So we can write things that will help us as management. And basically, number five, we can take that data and generate action plans. That is huge. Number six, this is probably my absolute favorite, is we can use AI insights to generate action items for areas of improvement. Number seven, we can automate recurring reporting tasks. Eight, we can simplify financial summaries with AI. Nine, we can analyze our business, do a deep data analysis, and use that to explore growth opportunities. And 10, I think this is where it gets really powerful. We can make data-driven decisions with the assistance of AI. So in the actual practical, I will show you how to create dashboards and how to summarize your performance data. ChatGPT is really good at that. And I've got a couple of experts, Avinash Kaushik and Edward Tuft. You can check them out and add them into your learning. So I'll show you how to create KPI prompts, a metrics cheat sheet, and our homework will be to summarize actual business performance using AI. And I can't stress this enough, use your numbers and practice, because here's the thing, most people who go into business know their business. They don't necessarily know how to do financial analysis. AI can do that for you and help you understand your business better. So you can actually ask real English questions of your data and get English responses back. So it's one thing to know your margins, it's one thing to know your KPIs, it's another to know what's the trend over time, and if the trends are positive, how do we accentuate that? If the trends are negative, how do we turn it around? Now, Module 12, this is what I'm going to call the launch pad. I've taught you the theory, I've taught you the practical. This is where you start to create a detailed action plan for success for your business tailored to you. So I will show you, and I'll walk through. There's going to be 10 steps as always, 10 ideas to get your brain going. Think of this as brainstorming, but I will share 10 ways ChatGPT can help you in building an AI-powered action plan. So number one, you can recap the key tools and frameworks from the course. One thing I do is I take notes when I take a course, and then I feed it to GPT and ask for action. I will show you how, number two, to create a 30, 60, and 90-day action plan. Number three, let's identify top business priorities for immediate implementation. Number four, I will show you how to map future use cases for ChatGPT. You can't do it all. You can't do it all immediately, so let's map it out. Number five, we could set measurable goals for AI integration. Number six, I strongly encourage build a habit of using ChatGPT regularly. I have it set so it opens on my computer when I log in, so I use ChatGPT every single day. Number seven, we can explore advanced tools that we should look at for implementation. Number eight, I'll show you how to stay updated on AI trends and innovations. This is a world of rapid change, so you want to at least keep up. And number 10, I'll show you how to engage with your community for ongoing support, to grow your community, to build your reputation. And of course, number 10, we will talk about celebrating progress so that we can set the stage for long-term success. So once you're done this module, you should have a 90-day action plan, and you should include things like tools to the ability to recap your key tools. You should have your favorite frameworks and some workflows. And above all, you should be able to identify your immediate priorities. So some experts here, we've got Tony Robbins and Stephen Kotler. I will show you how to generate your own customized AI-powered action plan template. And in the practical, I will show you how to build a 30-day implementation roadmap, and I'll show you how to build that out into a 60 and 90-day as well. Welcome to my ChatGPT Bootcamp. In this module, this course, the format is really simple. Every module, there's a group of modules. Every module has a theme, and in the module, I will walk through the theory first, showing you some practical use cases, and then once the theory is done, we'll get into the actual execution. I will show you detailed prompts. I will show you how to do the things I tell you about. So you will get practical exercises. I really encourage you to practice, practice, practice. I spent a few hours, probably a few thousand hours over roughly 2 years to master it. My goal is to give you 2 years worth of knowledge in this course. Now, we will, starting in January of 2025, we have live weekly Q&A sessions. Don't wait till then. You can share your comments in the course. You can ask questions in the course. I will show you how to get your own answers. And of course, as I mentioned, I will share tools, templates, cheat sheets, basically things that I have created for myself that you can adapt and use in your own business. So welcome to the ChatGPT Bootcamp. I am so excited to see what you will create in this course.